Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. And one of the reasons why is today I'm gonna talk about this tank, my 40-gallon shrimp tank. I love this tank. So first off, let's talk a little bit about this aquarium. It is a 40-gallon aquarium. It's not a 40-gallon breeder, just a 40-gallon tank. It is 36 inches wide. And in here we have a ton of shrimp, which we'll get to. What I did is I set up this tank with the purpose of having it to be a planted aquarium with just some shrimp in there. If you know my history and background, you know that shrimp hasn't always been something that I've had success with, but this tank is rocking. So I have a full layer of crushed coral underneath the substrate, so I think that helps with the water hardness and the minerals and the buffering as far as the shrimp are concerned. Then I've got a layer of substrate on top of there. And then we just did a bunch of planting. So I got a bunch of plants from Aquarium Co-op, planted them throughout the aquarium in a kind of a way that I thought would look good. And so far I'm loving how everything's growing. It's taking off tremendously. I did use a lot of fertilizer. So I used our easy root tabs. They're little gel caps filled with fertilizer that you can plant into the substrate. And what I did is I ended up putting a bunch of those in the substrate where all the plants were going. So basically like 1 or 2 root tabs per plant. So it's like covered with root tabs, and the plants just took off. I didn't have any melting or anything like that. And then of course we're dosing with easy green fertilizer, which is a liquid fertilizer, and I'm doing that about once every 5 days or so. Now this is a high tech kind of, or it wasn't as high tech as it is now, which we'll get into shortly, but it was kind of high tech-ish, meaning that I do have CO2. So there's a CO2 canister under here, a big tank, and I have a regulator and a bubble counter and all that kind of stuff. So we are injecting a little bit of CO2 in there. We're not like super fast. We're doing maybe like a bubble and a half per second or something like that. So it's kind of on the low side, but there is some CO2 getting injected in there. So the plants are doing well, but they weren't taking off as much as I wanted them to. So that's kind of what wasn't working great. So before this current light setup, I had on there a Phoenix Stingray light, which is the Gen 1 Stingray. And you might see those throughout my fish room. They're good lights. They're a good basic economy light, great for showing off fish. But it wasn't great for growing the plants that I want to grow a little bit faster and kind of get some more carpeting going on. So we did switch to the Aquarium Co-op Easy Plant LED light. This light is phenomenal. I work for Aquarium Co-op, so I kind of knew the development and everything. So when I got my hands on this and installed it, it was like night and day difference. It was significant, like increase on light. And I don't have this thing turned up all the way. I've actually got it, originally I put it at 3. Now I have it at level 4 out of 6. It's not even at full brightness, and it's way better than the Phoenix light that we had on there. And really the reason why I want that is I want my plants to grow a little bit quicker, specifically my Monte Carlo, because I want to get a carpeting effect. So we did plant some Monte Carlo, and I've never had like a nice carpet of plants in an aquarium, and I really want that to happen here. And I think that an all shrimp tank is going to really help. It's going to look great with the shrimp kind of walking all around the carpeted Monte Carlo. And I want the additional light in there coupled with the fertilizers and the CO2 to kind of help accelerate that. Now, one thing that I did notice when I put this Aquarium Co-op Easy Plant LED light on there is that I'm getting more purling. So if you're not familiar with purling is when you have an aquatic plant that's underwater, obviously, and it's doing so well that it's producing bubbles. It's basically releasing oxygen, and you can see those bubbles floating up into the surface. So I've got tons of purling on the plants going on. So that's probably a combination of the CO2, lots of good fertilizers, but also the good light. But overall, yeah, it looks great. I like to see that. The plants are super healthy and happy, and I can't say enough about this light. It's been really, really cool to have this on there, and it does make a big difference. Now, other equipment in this tank, we have an Aquarium Co-op heater, which I have set at 74 degrees. The reason why is shrimp don't need to have like warmer tropical temperatures, so it doesn't need to be 78 or 80 degrees in there. They're fine at like room temperature, 78, 68 degrees. They're just fine. I have it 74, because I want it to be cool enough for the shrimp, but I also have some autosinkless in there, so I want it to be warm enough for a couple of autosinkless. So that's kind of a good balance. I've had this set up for several months now, since last like late summer, early fall, like right around there. I first set it up in September. So everything's fine. We've got a sponge filter in there, Aquarium Co-op sponge filter. We've got a diffuser, obviously, for the CO2. And that's pretty much it as far as equipment is concerned. Let's talk about the inhabitants of this aquarium. I have a tremendous amount of red cherry shrimp in there. I have a handful of Amano shrimp in there. There's probably a couple snails here and there that, you know, missed my finger crushing them. And then there's the pair of autosynclists. So the autosynclists are in there just to kind of have some fish because I love fish tanks, and they do help with kind of keeping things clean with some of the algae that maybe the Amano shrimp or the red cherry shrimp miss. The Amano shrimp, of course, do great at cleaning algae. They've got, you know, big voracious appetites. So the tank is looking super clean and clear all the time. And then we have a bunch of red cherry shrimp. Now, in the past, I had terrible success with cherry shrimp, but these are doing well. They are, I don't know if you would call it spawning, but they're breeding. There are baby shrimplets all over the place, little tiny shrimp. I love them. And because it's been several months now, so I think I put the shrimp in there in October, so that's we're like 5 months in. So this is where a change is coming in. So we've got tons of cherry shrimp. I want to have some different colors in here. I kind of love that Skittles look where you see, you know, reds and blues and yellows and golds and things like that. So right now I've got red cherry shrimp. I have clear looking Amano shrimp, or light gray or whatever, and then autosynclists that I never see because they kind of hide in the back until the evening time. So I want to try some different shrimp. Now, Aquahuna is a retailer that we've trusted at Aquarium Co-op. I was looking at their website and like, oh, like those blues and those yellows look really cool. So I think I want to put some different colored shrimp in here, but I've never done a lot of shrimp. So I want to ask you guys what you think about me putting some blues or yellows or some other shrimp in this aquarium. I think that Neocaridina is probably easier for me. So probably limiting it to that, not doing like some super exotic shrimp. Maybe, you know, several months down the road, if I get better at it, then maybe we'll try that in here. But let me know down below in the comments what you think about me adding some different colored shrimp. What I don't know is, am I going to have an issue with like not inbreeding, but crossbreeding, where, you know, the reds will breed with the blues, and will I get some weird color thrown, you know, things going on. But I'm not like selling these for profit. I'm not breeding for profit. I just want to have this nice tank here that's in my office that I can just turn and look at whenever I want and just see the activity and the shrimp kind of, you know, grazing and roaming around and all that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think about the different colored shrimp, because that is something that I do want to try, and I love it when I see it in other tanks. So there you have it. There's the update on the 40-gallon shrimp tank that hopefully will be evolving into a 40-gallon Skittles tank, because I do want to try some different colored shrimp. So anyway, if you're interested in any of the stuff I talked about today, you know, the lights or the equipment or the shrimp, then check out the links down below, and hopefully it will help you if you're looking for some stuff. And also, don't forget, let me know down below in the comments what you think about Skittles.